Right, welcome to day 7. Um, some quick updates. I've chased up my GP. The practice manager has got the email, but hasn't got round to actually finding the stuff. She said call back on Monday, so hopefully that will work. Um, I am. My condition forces me one of two ways under stressful situations. Either I will not have any sleep at all, or I will go into what I call a hibernation cycle where I don't want to get out of bed. I'm so tired, even just sitting in a chair, I will just fall asleep. Um, and I'm currently heading towards a hibernation phase. Yesterday's posting probably seemed like I was in a um, frame of mind because it didn't come across as particularly angry. It didn't come across as particularly me being upset. But that's because my depression and some of the good news I've had this week sort of cancelled out some of the anger as well. So sometimes I will come across like that, but I am truly worried. Um, I want the Atos assessment to be recorded, but they're saying the onus is on me to get the equipment. I have phoned the adult college where I was a governor. They have something that can make simultaneous recordings, two simultaneous recordings, but it's a digital format where you just download it onto a memory stick. What I'm going to do in a few minutes after this update, I am going to phone Atos, and there will be a fade cut in this. I don't like editing, but there's going to be a phase cut. Yeah, a fade cut because I'm going to phone Atos and I'm going to put them on speakerphone so you can hear what's going on. The fade cut is going to be I have to give my personal details and I'm not going to let everybody know all my personal details. So I hope you understand. I'm not trying to edit out anything good, bad, or indifferent. I just need to cut out the bit where I can be identified by it. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to tell them that I've got them on speakerphone and am recording it. But some may consider what I'm about to do or what I will be doing as potentially illegal. I'm doing it for educative purposes because people need to know how the system is um, set up to be against giving you a fair hearing. I've got a couple of things to relate. So I have some experience of how um, corrupt is probably the wrong word, but it's the only word I can come up with at the moment, how corrupt the system is. Because um, for for 9 months I lost my benefit. I wasn't sanctioned or anything like that. It was my living situation at the time. I was living with my ex-wife, or we were separated but still legally married. But because the local housing department has such strict rules that are inflexible, we were basically having to share the same house, the same flat. My money was spent on you know, the money that I got, the benefit I got, the ESA, went on my food and everything. But because, and they admitted to the mistake, they never apologised. Instead of giving me a particular meeting to see the living situation, I lost my benefit for 9 months. It was only thanks to the fact that my ex-wife, now ex-wife, and she was my ex-wife partway through the 9 months as well, is an angel, and she gave me £100 out of her money that she could ill afford to spend, so that I had something per month to live on. So there's that, and that happened in 2014. Earlier, just before or about the time that the Tories were really pushing their austerity agenda, I applied for DLA, Disability Living Allowance, for those who don't know what DLA is. And I was turned down. I was told appeal. The reason I want someone there or a recording made was because when I got the report back, when I was turned down on appeal, they were basing their decision on my physical ill health, which was not the major part of my claim. My major part of my claim was my depression, and that at the time I hadn't been diagnosed with a personality disorder. So it was my depression and anxiety that was the main focus, and they held my physical health as the main thrust of their argument. I should have appealed it, but I just couldn't face that again. There was very little mention of my mental health. There was no one there who actually understood mental health. And it was, I was railroaded. I also, and this is what really annoys me, I was doing voluntary work when I was well. So when I was well, I could do voluntary work, so I did it. That was held against me. And yet, when you're on ESA, the work-related activity group, you are encouraged to do voluntary work. And yet, when I was doing it, and on DLA, it's a non-means tested benefit that even people in employment could have, they were holding my voluntary work against me, which makes no sense whatsoever. So this is a reason why I want an advocate to go with me, or a recording made, so that the assessor does not omit information. So I do have the appointment to see the advocate on Monday, dependent on whether I can use the technology that I can get hold of, and because I'm a governor, I might be able to get an ex-governor, I might be able to get it as a favour from the adult college. They don't know what it's for. I've just asked if there was that technology available. So they are not getting involved in anything. They don't know. If they can't use that technology, someone has suggested get someone to take notes as we go through, but again, that's still one person's word against another. I'd rather have something objective there. So my ex-wife is going with me, but she could be seen as someone who's trying to do things to help me rather than be objective. So I'd rather there be either an advocate there or a recording, so that nothing is omitted, or I can go back on appeal and say, actually, once I've got the report of the notes that they took, I can turn around and say, well, actually, you missed X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to make the phone call in a couple of minutes. This is why I want to make the phone call. This is why I know it's important to have some kind of insurance. At least if I have an advocate there, yes, they're working for me, but they have no personal interest in whether I get it or not, because they get paid by the service that they work for, and basically whether I get it or not, they still get paid. So it won't look good for them if they fail, but it's not going to count against them either. So I'm going to make the phone call in a minute. There will be a jump cut, sorry, a fade cut, as I edit out the bit where it's going to have my personal details, but I will include a warning to the person that I'm speaking to on the phone that I am recording it. They just don't know it's going on YouTube. So, see you in a minute. Right. I tried to phone a second ago, and the person put the phone down on me because I would like to record the phone call. I'm only asking for information, and I need to put it on speakerphone, simply because I like to keep a record of the phone calls that I make. So I know you have to consent. So if you consent, could I put this on speakerphone and record the call? Thank you very much. Hang on a sec. Right. I've got an assessment on Thursday next week, at the PIP Consultation Centre in Barking at 10:45. I phoned up yesterday to ask if I could have that recorded, and I was told that I would have to I would have to bring along the recording equipment myself. I have found somewhere where I can get a recording equipment that can take two simultaneous recordings, but it's not on tape. It doesn't cut to CD. It creates a file that can only be downloaded onto a memory stick. Would that be acceptable?
That is something that would be accepted.
It would be.
That wouldn't. For what wouldn't be accepted if you were to go onto our website, atoshealthcare.com.
So even though there's no possibility of me tampering with it, and it is used in exams to help people, and both parties get a copy of it, that technology is not acceptable by Atos.
Okay, if you just bear with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the website and I will read out what it does state on the website. These are the guidelines that we have been given by the Department for Work and Pensions.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, it does state that your recording equipment must be able to produce 2 identical copies of the recording at the end of the consultation, either in audio cassette or CD format.
Okay, and that's it. Yeah, that's the only options.
That is what is stated in the guideline.
Right. Okay. Could I have on my record that I would like to have it recorded, and if I can get the proper equipment, that I would like it recorded. I'd like it noted on my record so that I am not turned away if I have got that type of equipment.
Okay, I will note that on your record. I will also send an email across to another department to arrange that as well, so that the healthcare professional would also consent to being recorded. In terms of the recordings, even if it was to be 2 separate players that were able to record,
Yeah.
so even if it was 2, for example, Walkmans that were able to record a copy each, that would also be acceptable.
Right. Okay.
Okay, but I will make a note on the record and I will send an email across to another department to arrange for this as well.
Right. If I can get either one that can do 2 simultaneous or 2 pieces of equipment that can record at the same time,
Yeah.
would I be able to use the electricity supply at the location, because batteries cost a lot of money, and because I'm on benefits, that would be a financial burden that I may not be able to cover. Would I be able to use the electricity supply at the venue?
Okay, if you just bear with me, I'll just pop in a quick hold and I will just clarify that for you before I do give you an answer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello?
Hello?
Thank you for holding. Right, I've just spoken to the centre.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. That'll be perfect. That'll be fine.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much for finding out for me, and thank you for letting me record the phone call
Okay,
and consenting for that. If more people for Atos Healthcare actually were like you, Atos would actually have a much better public opinion would be better disposed towards Atos. Thank you very much for your help.
Okay,
You've been very helpful.
What I will do is I will put the request through as well.
Thank you very much.
Would be possible for the recording on that date.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, is there anything else I can help you with, sir?
No, that's it. You've been very helpful. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Really good. But the cost of that call, to me, it was just under 11 minutes. So if we round it up, is £1.10. I think that people on benefits shouldn't be charged that sort of money. All phone calls regarding benefits should be on a free phone number. And I'm sorry if that pisses off people who think that we are scroungers and skivers and stuff like that. But actually, when you're on such a low income, that is a very costly call. Luckily, it wasn't an 0800, a premium rate number. It's actually an 0300 number, so it's a local rate. But that's still, the local rate for me is still 10p a minute, and that's £1.10p that's added to the phone bill that I can only just cover because I've got PIP. If they take PIP away from me, I will not be able to make any phone calls at all. So, as you can see, the system is pretty much skewed against the interests of the claimants. The fact that I had someone who was actually willing to go on, let me record the call. You won't hear the first call because I'm going to edit that out because he didn't give his consent, and if I put his part on there on here, that would be illegal. But because I had consent for this second call, I'm going to post the whole second call because there are some really nice people, helpful people at Atos. But again, their hands are constrained by the rules. So although I don't like Atos, I'm not saying everyone who works for Atos is a complete utter twonk. What I'm saying is that what Atos are, in fact, it might be some of the assessors aren't, or maybe all of them, I don't know. But the DWP sets a criteria, so their hands are constrained by the criteria. But for every person that they get kicked off of benefits, they do get a kickback. So it is in their interest to get people off of benefits, and it's not in the interest of a claimant. So in some respects, they have their hands tied, but they do have I don't know, maybe skewed morals when it comes to omitting some stuff. I'm not saying this will happen in my case. I'm not saying this happens in every case, but some people have stuff that is omitted, which is why so many people get their appeal, get the decision to take them off their benefit overturned on appeal, which costs the taxpayer money because you have to go to all the expense of setting up the tribunals and stuff like that. If the assessors did not omit all the information. If it was all bona fide, everything was covered, and then a decision was made, then you wouldn't have to go to tribunal because there would be a fair hearing. But unfortunately, omissions are made. I have had people come to me because they've seen these videos and telling me that they've had to go to appeal because when they've had the case, the case notes sent to them, stuff has been omitted, which was crucial to whether they got PIP or not. So I know this is going on for a very long time today, but I wanted to get the phone call in and the little commentary afterwards. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so see you tomorrow.